नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for this short session on the holy name of Krishna. Today we'll discuss on this important topic of incentives of chanting, how to understand them. Sometimes we see in our scriptures there are so many falashrutis. If you read this episode of Bhagavatam, you will get this benefit. If you chant this name of the Lord, you will get this benefit. Or if you do this puja, you will attain this success. If you do this vrata, if you do this homa, you will become successful in this way. So there are so many such incentives given in our scriptures, and no surprise, even chanting of the holy name of the Lord also is described in this way, right? Like if you chant the holy name of the Lord, even inattentively, you will attain success, or you will attain liberation. And you, even if your chanting is unconscious, you will be eradicating all the sinful reactions. Like that, there are so many such shlokas. Okay, let's see a couple of shlokas and then we'll discuss. So now there is one shloka from Bhagavatam, right in the first canto, first chapter. This shloka comes. Apannah samsritim ghoram yannam avivasho grinan tatah sadyo vimuchyeta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Apannah samsritim ghoram. So this samsriti means material existence, which is ghora. Ghora means very fierce. Yan nama vivashogranan. But a person who is chanting the holy name of Krishna, yan nama vivashogranan. Vivasha means unconsciously, not consciously, not attentively, not with feelings. Even if one unconsciously, casually also chants the holy name of the Lord, one will be saved from this ghora samsriti, this fierce material existence. Tataha sadyo vimuchyeta. One will immediately be delivered from such a fierce and dangerous situation. Why? Yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Even fear personified becomes fearful of the holy name of Krishna, which is non-different from Krishna himself, right? Yad bibheti swayam bhayam. So it's the glory of holy name. Not that we doubt this statement, right? Even unconscious chanting also will deliver a person from the material existence, right? And you want proof for this? Here is the picture right next to the shloka. That is Ajamil. Acharyas give this Ajamil episode as an example to this shloka. This Brahmana, Ajamil, he was good Brahmana, but because he came in contact with a prostitute and he became overly addicted to her association, and he lost all his Brahmanical culture and values. He started associating with her, and he abandoned his parents. He abandoned his good wife coming from a respectable Brahmanical family. So he gave up everything and he adopted to sinful means for his maintenance. He would beat people, cheat people, loot people, gamble with them, and somehow or the other acquire his livelihood by sinful means and maintain himself, right? So that is his style. But at the time of his death, when the Yamadutas were coming to take Ajamil to hell to punish him for all the sinful activities that he has done, Vishnudutas came. Four brilliant, effulgent Vishnudutas came to save Ajamil. Why? He did Yannama Vivasho Granan. Vivasho Granan. So Apanna has samsrityam ghoram Yannama Vivasho Granan. Unconsciously, he was chanting Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Because the name of his son was Narayana. He was fortunate enough to name his son Narayana, and he was so attached to his son. At the age of 88, he had a very little son, his toddler, maybe hardly 1 or 2 years or 3 years old. His exact age is not mentioned, but he was very young. He could not even speak properly. Such a young child, he was attached to him. And Ajamil was affectionately chanting the holy name of Krishna, holy name of Narayana, while calling his son. Ajamil is now anxiously chanting the holy name of Narayana while calling his son. But the Supreme Lord Narayana had sent his order carriers, Vishnudutas, because he chanted 4 syllables of the holy name Narayana. 4 Vishnudutas came to protect Ajamil. Right? So Ajamil is protected. Fine. Yan nama vivasho granan. Proof. So next, one more. Mriyamano harirnama granan putropacharitam Ajamilopya gadhama kimuta shraddhaya granan. So Ajamil chanted the holy name of Krishna, Harinama, putropacharitam, to call his son Narayana, not exactly the Supreme Lord, but he wanted to call his son only. But still, Ajamilopi Agadhama, he went to the Supreme Lord's abode, right? Now, one more. In the same episode, it comes. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva va Vaikunthanama grihanam aseshagharam viduhu. Sanketyam means to do sanket. You're indicating someone else. Somebody is passing by, his name is Hari, for example. Hari, come here, Hari. You say that. So you are just giving an indication to that person. You have no mood to chant the holy names of the Lord. You are not desperately, devotionally chanting Krishna, Krishna, Ram, Ram, like that. You're just calling somebody. Sanketyam, you are giving a sanket. Next, parihasyam va. Parihas means to make fun of somebody. Okay. Sometimes in schools or colleges, one student's name is, say, Narayana. One student's name is, say, Krishna or Ram. Other students may tease that person, right? For some reason. So while teasing, they say Krishna, they say Ram, they say Hari. Okay. That is parihasa. Then stobham helanam evava. Helana means neglectfully saying something or just chastising somebody or while falling or tripping. The list continues in other slokas. So while falling or while tripping or while doing something else, you just, while walking, you just hit a rock and then you fell down. And you somehow managed to say Krishna or Hari or Ram. Okay. And that kind of chanting also is very beneficial, is also very uplifting, right? So many shlokas are there, especially in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam, beginning chapters, Ajamil episode. There's a big list of shlokas that describe the power of holy name, although the holy name is chanted insincerely, inattentively, unconsciously, to indicate someone else, to make fun of someone else, or to chastise someone else, or to do anything, right? So if holy name is so powerful like this, why should we emphasize so much on attentive chanting, right? Don't sleep in chanting. There are 10 offenses to chanting, right? Yannama Vivashogrinan, even unconsciously say Krishna. And it is also said that chanting of one holy name of Krishna can eradicate as many sinful reactions as more number of sinful reactions, more than how much we can commit. So, one chanting of holy name of Krishna can eradicate more sins than a person can possibly commit, right? If one holy name has that much power, why should I chant 16 rounds? I'll chant one mantra only, or one name only, Krishna, or Rama, or Narayana. It's sufficient. Why Hare Krishna Mahamantra? In that there are 16 names, and like that, 108 times, one round, then 16 rounds. Is it really necessary? I can do anything I want. So the answer is obvious, but it needs some little explanation. You see, in this sloka, our Sukadev Goswami is saying, which is we just read, Mriyamano Harer Nama Grinan Putropacharitam Ajamilopya Gaddama Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan Kimuta Shraddhaya Grinan. He is concluding the chapter and the shloka with Shraddha. If Ajamil has attained the Lord's abode by unconsciously chanting Narayana, that too Grunan Putropacharitam, that too to call his son, still he attained the Supreme Lord's abode. What will happen to you if you Shraddhaya, if you chant the holy name with Shraddha? So this Grunan is Putropacharitam Grunan, and he is recommending Shraddhaya Grunan. Okay. So he chanted to indicate his son. What will happen if you chant with faith in the Lord? So whenever such incentives are given, that is to encourage us, right? Even one name is sufficient, even half name is sufficient. So when you say sufficient, that does not mean we just stick to that standard only. Say 35% is the pass mark in your exam. I'll just get 35%, somehow or that I'll get 35%, enough. So what will happen to people who are getting 40%, 50%, 60%, 90%, 100%, and they know more than what is given in the question paper also, right? So why do you want to just pass the exam? Why can't you get first class or distinction or honors, right? Why can't you just get a gold medal? Why can't you just learn beyond what is there in the question paper? Somehow a student gets the question paper before exam. He'll study only the question paper and he'll go. He'll get 100 out of 100. Just assume that he may not get also. But the subject matter is more vast and more deep than what is given in the question paper, right? For example, in your Bhakti Vaibhav exam, we are conducting one closed book exam. Okay, that closed book exam has 5 questions or 10 questions. If you read that much, fine, you'll get the certificate. But there is more content in the Bhagavatam, right? You want to just attend the exam and get 35% or 45%, whichever is the pass mark, and then get a degree, or you want to learn the subject? You want to relish Bhagavatam. Even in academic circles also, even in mundane education also, material education also, we see that a student who is sincere enough to study the entire subject, not just for pass mark, but for the entire, to understand the subject, will actually flourish in his career. In the interview, they may ask questions. Now it's beyond exam, right? So in the interview, they may ask some questions and he will answer those questions very effectively. Although they did not come in the exam, they are not marked as IMP, important, star marked, right? Because he has genuine taste for the subject and he learned. So therefore, when such incentives are given, Sanketyam, Parihasyam, Stobham, Helanameva, it does not mean that we have to stick to Sanketyam chanting only. We have to stick to Parihasyam chanting only. Anyways, I make fun of my friend Mr. Hari. Okay, I don't have to chant 16 rounds. I have my close friend Hari. I keep pulling his legs so much. Okay, and Parihasyam chanting also will eradicate our sinful reactions. Bhagavatam says this. You can quote Bhagavatam shloka directly, greatest authority of Bhagavatam, and then only chant while teasing people, while pulling the legs of your friends who happen to have name Hari or Krishna, or Rama, Narasimha, etc. So actually, that's not the ultimate recommendation of Bhagavatam. Our Sukadeva Goswami concludes Ajamil episode by saying that Ajamil chanted the holy name of Narayana to indicate his son. What will happen to you if you chant the holy name of Narayana indicating the Lord? Ajamil chanted the holy name without faith. What will happen if you chant with faith? Shraddha, kimuta shraddhaya granam. Ajamil chanted at the time of death. What will happen if you chant throughout your life? Ajamil chanted the holy name of Narayana with a lot of sinful background. He has committed so many sinful activities and he chanted. Still, he is purified. What will happen to you if you chant by following the four regulative principles? If you chant with purity of conduct and purity of intent, if you chant, what will happen to you? Why should you settle down to 35% pass mark? Why can't you get 95% or 100%? Why can't you enter into a relationship with Krishna? So here these shlokas where incentives are given, unconscious chanting also is beneficial. Yeah, that's to encourage people definitely, but that does not mean these incentives, these concessions given to us should make a sincere sadhaka settle down to very meager performance, right? In sadhana, we can't be very miserly in doing sadhana and being very extravagant in exploring material energy. Let's be extravagant in exploring the taste of holy name of Krishna, and let's be miserly in enjoying material facilities. We'll take them as minimal as possible. Whatever is needed for me to maintain my body and soul together, I will take that much. But let me be extravagant. Let me chant the holy names of Krishna more. Let me understand Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila better. Let me chant more attentively, with feeling, with emotions. So this should be the aspiration of a sadhaka rather than settling down to a meager performance of just, I will eradicate my sinful reactions by unconsciously chanting the holy name. That is sufficient for me. Someone said, I will not chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra because in the second half of this mantra, there is Ram. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Ram underwent so many difficulties in his life. Therefore, I will not chant Hare Krishna mantra. At least half mantra you chant, I was telling her. Right? She's one of her elder aunts. Right? So they have their own sentiments. Ram underwent difficulties, I don't want difficulties. Therefore, I will not chant his name. Okay, I said, Krishna did not undergo so many difficulties. You chant his name. He's very blissful, very bindas. You chant his name at least. It's okay. I have so many other mantras. I have so many devatas in my list, right? I keep doing their Ashtotar Satanama Vali and Sahasranama Puja and all that. I keep doing that. People just, but this understanding of attaining Krishna Prema through Krishna Nama is given to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we can take advantage of it, right? We can take benefit of this process and then develop love for Krishna or motivation not to do unconscious and relate into chanting. Let's consider Ajamil's example. Ajamil chanted the holy name of Nar, indicating his son, right? And the Lord, Ajamil, are you able to hear me? Ajamil went to Vaikuntha not immediately. Ajamil was only given a second chance. He chanted Narayana to indicate his son, and the son came. Narayana came, son did not come, by the way. Narayana came, Narayana had sent his Vishnu Dutas, and they protected Ajamil from Yamadutas. And Vishnu Dutas left, Yamadutas left. Ajamil is sitting there. Then he realized his mistakes. Then he took a resolve, become a victim of sense enjoyment and sinful activities anymore, and he consciously chanted the holy name of the Lord. Okay, Ajamil did not stop at unconscious chanting, by the way. Ajamil went to Haridwar, and there he did his hearing and chanting for 12 years, attentively, not inattentively, consciously, not unconsciously, with Shraddha, not without Shraddha, right? Without doing any sinful activities, not with committing so many sins. So he did such a pure chanting of holy name of the Lord. And after 12 years, Vaikuntha airplane came to take Ajamil to Vaikuntha. So, and Ajamil's chanting also, it's not just one chanting of holy name of Narayana to indicate his son. Since the time the son was named Narayana, till Yamadutas came to pick him up, Ajamil was chanting Narayana, Narayana, Narayana hundreds of times, thousands of times affectionately. It's not just once. Affectionately he was chanting. And when he was dying, Ajamil was chanting in an anxious state of mind. So this anxious chanting in fear and affectionate chanting in happiness, both of this chanting has purified him, right? So, and two more things, 2 points I said. Ajamil's chanting was affectionate for a long time, for a couple of years, and Ajamil's chanting was very deeply intense because he was in anxiety. When you're affectionately, when mother is affectionately addressing the son or daughter, naturally the utterance of the name is with full attention, with full feelings, with full emotions. That's what Ajamil was doing. And when somebody is anxiously crying out for help, they can't be inattentive. They can't be spaced out. They're very attentive in chanting, isn't it? Naturally. So Ajamil attentively chanted Narayana, although he's not indicating Narayana. One more thing is, Ajamil did not commit these offenses, 2 offenses to holy name. One offense is to chant the holy name of the Lord to eradicate one's sinful reactions. Second offense is to commit sinful activities thinking that holy name will eradicate. So seventh offense is to think that to think holy name will eradicate all my sinful reactions. So there are 2 aspects to it. Ajamil chanted not to eradicate his past sins. And Ajamil never committed any future sins because he was thinking that, oh, I have chanted. This chanting will take care. He did not commit sins on the strength of holy name, and he did not chant to eradicate sins also. So he did not commit these 2 offenses. And the 2 credits of Ajamil were that he affectionately chanted for a long time and he anxiously chanted at the time of death, and that completely purified him, right? So, and despite all this, he did not go back to Godhead, by the way. He did not go to the spiritual world immediately. He was given a second chance. Prabhupada wrote a full book on second chance. And then he went to Haridwar, he chanted, he worshipped the Lord for 12 years, avoiding all sins. Then Vaikuntha airplane came to take him to Vaikuntha. Right? So, although the glories of the holy name of the Lord are really great and it's real, we should not doubt them. Yes, unconscious chanting of the holy name of the Lord also can deliver a person. No doubt about that. However, we don't have to settle down to that performance. So all this discussion should not enable us or inspire us to minimize the glory of the holy name. The holy name's glories will remain intact. Even if someone chants the holy name unconsciously, Yannama Vivashogranan, he will be delivered from samsara. But we just don't want deliverance from samsara only. We want Krishna Prema, isn't it? We want eternal service to Krishna. If that is your aspiration, don't settle down to unconscious chanting only. Don't settle down to Sankityam Parihasyam va Stobham Helanam eva only, right? So it's like Putana came to, I'll conclude with this, 2 more minutes. Putana came to give her poisonous milk to Krishna and kill Krishna, right? So Krishna made her a mother in the spiritual world. Padbhyam bhakta hridistabhyam vandyabhyam loka vanditaihi angam yasyaha samakramya bhagavanapi tatstanam Yatu dhanyapi sasvarga bhavapa janani gatim Krishna bhuktasthana kshiraha kimugavo numataraham. If Putana came with such a malicious intention to kill Krishna with her poisonous milk, and if she attained the spiritual world, the position of motherly nurse in the spiritual world, what will happen to all the cows and the gopis of Vrindavan who lovingly fed their milk to Krishna? You see the comparison here? Putana fed poisonous milk. She acted like a mother, but her attitude was not like mother. Her attire was like that mother, like that of a mother, and her activities were like that of a mother, but the attitude was like a baby catcher, like a witch, like a bloodsucker of infant babies, right? So that is the situation of Putana, and if Putana also got the position of mother in the spiritual world, you can just imagine what would be the fortune of all the motherly gopis of Vrindavan. What would be the fortune of the cows of Vrindavan, who fed their milk to Krishna lovingly with great enthusiasm, with great eagerness, right? So we want to follow the footsteps of Putana, or we want to follow the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan, right? So Putana also received Krishna's mercy, and the gopis also received Krishna's mercy. So what style we want, what aspect of Krishna's mercy we want. So we should make that choice. So we should not just aspire to chant the holy name of Krishna in a very mediocre way and just get liberation from this world. Enough. No, we should not just settle down there. Let us try to increase the quality of chanting as much as possible. Okay. And aspire for something higher. Okay. Aspire for Krishna Prema, aspire to render service to Krishna in a particular mood, following the footsteps of great devotees. So, yes, 35% is also pass, 65% is also pass, and 100% is also pass. But there's a difference in understanding. There's a difference in how you flourish in your career, in your ordinary education. Similarly, unconscious chanting is also chanting, Krishna will show mercy. Attentive, conscious, faithful, dedicated, intense chanting is also chanting that will give Krishna Prema. You want liberation or Krishna Prema? You can choose. Okay. Let me also choose the second way of increasing the intensity and faith and attention in the chanting. Let me not settle down to Sanketyam Parihasyam kind of chanting. So with your blessings, I will also be able to improve my chanting. So I'll conclude here. 7 o'clock. Mayapur Darshan is opening. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Harinam Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.